The 798th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up at Underdog Fantasy using promo code MMA SGPN to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits. And we're also brought to you by Edge Boost. Get up to $750 in cashback rewards each month when you sign up at edgeboost.bet and use promo code SGPN.
Howdy ho, DeGenerenos. Welcome to episode 798 of the MMA Gambling Podcast and Sports, a gambling podcast network dedicated to Shackle Rusty Ford, one of our friends in the Discord, who's trying to be policeman over the silly. Well, they weren't really fighting, but there was stupid discussions in the Discord, which usually does not happen, I assure you. And he brought it back to the fights, the actual fights that happen in the cage. So this goes out to Shackle Rusty Ford. So Gumby and I don't have to be.
Do you get that reference of his name?
Shackle Rusty Ford. That's gonna be real, everyone. And
it's backwards if that helps. It's supposed to be yes. Rusty Shackelford.
What's that from? I don't know. It's from some movie I haven't seen, I'm sure.
Nah, it's from a TV show you haven't seen.
Yeah. Let me see. What show do you guys always talk about that I haven't seen? Parks and Rec?
No, it's a Dale Gribble from King of the Hill reference. It's his alter
ego.
I
used to watch King of the Hill all the time.
Yeah. Dale Gribble's alter ego is Rusty Shackelford when he's like an
really?
FBI agent or he's investigating something.
Oh, okay. There you go. So this goes out to him. That would be Daniel Governor. I am still the ass grinder, Jeff Fox. If you want that cringy name to go away, then someone give me better
something better.
Yesterday we covered the first half of this week's PFL. That PFL thinks is women's featherweight. Really, it's women's flyweight. PFL 2025 World Tournament. First round 2 is the catchy title.
Such a terrible name.
Oh boy. It's like
how did they not come up with the concept that like literally every promotion in the whole world just uses numbers at the end? PFL 6, PFL 7. I mean, when they were World Series of Fighting, they did that. And like now, because they have 7 different entities within their own entity, they got to come up with these wacky names. Yeah, they don't even know how many events they've had. That's probably why they stopped numbering them. So yeah, it's a mess. It's like the wacky Japanese titles when you translate it to English, it comes out all weird, and that's pretty much what this is. Yeah, and the better all their different properties all have different television broadcast partners as well, which is always I'm still not sure we'll be watching PFL Europe.
exactly, and it looks like the UFC could be headed that way too, which is going to be great too. It's all about us fans, right? When sports do that. That's something that came up in the Discord too last night. Gumby complaining about MLB making him watch stuff.
I don't want Apple TV.
Yeah, I know.
I don't watch anything on Apple TV. But it's a huge bummer when you're like, so I have the MLB package. So I can watch any MLB game on any given day, unless it's one of the weird Friday games on Apple TV or, I'm sure, I think they had another one recently that was on Tubi. Was there one on Tubi?
Sounds right. I've missed twice in the past week. I think I've tried to watch a J game and like, why isn't it not on TV? And like, oh, it's on friggin' Apple. Ugh. Yeah. That old guys will that watch baseball and then complain about where you watch
how they watch baseball.
Yeah, exactly. That's what people came here for. All right, we're talking PFL. I asked you how your picks did for week 1. How was the actual action in the cage week 1, Gumby, of PFL?
Not bad. Yeah, not bad. I like watching Logan Storley fight, and I know that's maybe an unpopular decision because he's a really suffocating wrestler and tends not to be that much fun. But just the little things he does in the grappling world are really fun for me to watch. So yeah, I enjoyed that. But yeah, I mean it was a PFL event. It sure was.
They try. Well, some people there. I want to say they try, but do they try? I don't know. We're covering the men's this time. This is men's bantamweight is what we're covering on this here episode. Before we get to that, let me tell you that the Masters is just around the corner. Augusta is where the Masters are located, and that is just right around the corner. And SGPN is back with Splash Sports for a big contest, up to $30,000 in prizes and only $25 to enter. Get in today at splashsports.com/SGPN. That's splashsports.com/SGPN. Tune into the Golf Gambling Podcast, Steffi Smalls Show, and Bottom Line Bombs for all your Masters picks. Lucky I had speech. What's it called, Gumby? when they help you pronounce things when you're little, speech lessons when I was little, because
services. Yeah.
Anyhow, I had trouble with my S's, and there's a lot of S's in that ad read. Splash Sports, SGPN, and Steffi Small's show. Anyhow, I can't now, instead of mispronouncing, now I mispronounce things and I can't remember things. But I can say my S's. So there you go. All right, bantamweights. Bantamweights, yes. Thoughts on the bantamweights, Gumby? Anybody missing?
They just had a bunch of fighters fall off. Saramajan Kamadov.
Speaking of pronunciations.
Whoo! And we're actually going to talk about one of his former opponents in the first fight of the night. He was booked to fight on this card. I mean, I think there was a ton.
Magomedov. Did he not win last year?
That sounds like a name of a guy who would have won that. Yeah, Sarvajan Kamadov was supposed to fight Jake Hadley. Magomedov was supposed to fight Leandro Higo. Oh, Kieran Clark was supposed to fight Kasumov. Ali Taleb was supposed to be on this fight card, who is the very exciting fighter who won PFL Mina. I'm going to go PFL Mina. He won PFL Mina last year. I thought for sure he was going to be in the tournament. His opponent had visa issues, and now weirdly he's fighting Taylor Lopoulos in a non-tournament bout on the PFL Europe card. So, do with that what you will. And also, what's Taylor Lopoulos doing here and not being in a tournament? That's confusing.
Yeah, that's a name people know at least.
Well, yeah, and his contract expired with the UFC. What is PFL doing outbidding them for Taylor Lopoulos? Unless they just got some fights in Paris, they need to make sure people show up too.
Yeah, maybe. Magomedov has never fought in the PFL, and yet I claimed he was a champion. He fought
sounds right. They didn't have a bantamweight tournament last year.
No, that's why I was going to ask you who won it last year. No one did. He was in the Bellator bantamweight tournament back in the day, and he fought for the Bellator belt. But yeah, anyhow, so quite a few big name guys either pull it out or strangely aren't booked in this tournament. But
yeah, I would have picked Ali Taleb. He's so much fun to watch, and it would have just been fun to see him win it. But now we've got a much weirder group for sure.
Without naming names, anyone you're excited about on this one, like Shakalova on yesterday's?
No.
That's a no. If you have to think about it, then no, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's some guys who I think are good. There's somebody who I think is a clear favorite. But yeah, nobody who I'm like, damn, this guy's in here sick. No, it's just like, hey, that's a guy who might wrestle his way to a tournament victory.
So you're not excited about Marcirley, Alves, Vilson, Ndregjoni? You're not excited about that?
I do love Vilson Ndregjoni. I feel like we've talked about him more on this podcast than most fighters.
We have. He is from Albania. He's fighting the Brazilian Alves. This would be the alternate bout. So when someone either gets hurt or misses weight, one of these guys will get to fight in the tournament. More than likely, they will, because these things happen in MMA.
Yeah, I think the original alternate bout was Justin Wetzell versus Matheus Mattos.
Yeah, Wetzell's already moved up. Yeah, they both did. Actually,
so it's Mattos, and then Mando Gutierrez appeared out of nowhere, as did Josh Rettinghouse. So every single fight in the tournament has a replacement right now, and then this is what they dredged up for the
oh boy, listen to you. Gumby is really laying in on the despite them being good for our business, Gumby is laying in the PFL. Hey, we got to be honest. Let's tell you about this fight. Ndregjoni is the strong eagle, and he's one of the lucky men who has the CM Punk in their Tapology picture. So I think there's a couple fighters who have CM Punk interviewing them as their Tapology picture. The strong eagle, 11-4, 4 knockouts, 1 submission. Is he CM Punk or is he Phil Brooks when he does MMA commentary?
I don't have the
slightest
clue.
Why are you mad about that? That's a legitimate question.
I'm not. I'm just mad about him being a thing in MMA.
All right, 11-4, 4 knockouts.
That way.
He's got 4 knockouts, 1 submission for the strong eagle. He's been submitted twice. This is his debut. 6-1 over his last 7. He got 1 via TKO in his last bout. Multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get the shirt, get the gear, get the merch. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Try Madness. The bosses may still have that active in there for a 20% discount. He's fed at 145 and 155, 3 inches of height over Alves, plus 170. Alves is Duran is his nickname, obviously. 12-4 with 9 knockouts. He's been submitted twice. This is his debut as well. He's won 3 of 4, but he did lose his last bout. He went 1-1 in Bellator. He's a regional champ. Used to fight at 125. So these guys used to be 30 pounds, different weight classes. 7 years younger than Ndregjoni, minus 210. Where did Ndregjoni fight that we talked about him? Because we have talked about. Okay, he was a champ there, actually.
And UAE Warriors. I think we broke down one of his fights over at UAE Warriors too. When he wasn't getting enough CFFC fights, or maybe he just thought the fights he was getting in CFFC wasn't getting him closer to the UFC or whatever. Or I guess PFL. Maybe he was trying to get close to the PFL. He wound up doing a UAE Warriors fight. I'm going to take Alves in this one. He, as you mentioned, he lost his last fight. That was to Sarvajan Kamadov, who was supposed to be in this tournament. But like he looked pretty damn good in that fight. And granted, he did wind up giving up enough takedowns that Kamadov wound up winning. There's also like some really brilliant moments of takedown defense in there. Some where he got like double underhooks and a front headlock. Some with like a strong wizard that got him right back up to where he needed to be. Like his takedown defense ultimately wasn't enough, but like I saw so many like bright spots in there where I was like, if he wasn't fighting Kamadov, he would be in a really great place in this fight. And as far as his striking goes, like, you mentioned it, all the knockouts that are on his record, he is a guy with an absolutely electric left hand. He's a southpaw, and pretty much everything he's doing is setting up that big right hand to land. And he's super fast. So I think those are advantages he has on Ndregjoni, because like Ndregjoni to me has always been like, he's adequate on the feet, but like really he's better when he's mixing and matching what he's doing. He's better when he can get his wrestling going to make you fear that that's going to come. And then he like lets go of his hands more. The problem is I think Alves' takedown defense is good enough to stuff what Ndregjoni does. He shoots from just like a little bit too far away. And if he can't drive through and finish one or two of those and scare off Alves into throwing less punches, I think every time it goes to the feet, Alves just like badly pieces him up. And like with the knockout power we've seen from Alves, there's no reason to think he couldn't knock out Ndregjoni too. So give me Marcirley Alves here.
Don't worry, strong ego. We shall be, whether you win or lose, I'm sure we'll talk about you a bunch more times because you seem to always be in a promotion recovering for some reason. So just these things happen in MMA sometimes. All right, here's a fighter we've talked about before. I don't think we talked about his opponent before, though. This is that Bantamweight, Mattos from Brazil versus Jake Hadley from England. We kind of had high hopes for him when he was a flyweight entry in the UFC. Didn't really pan out. All right, we're going to tell you about, this one's pretty much a pick'em, so I have to do some math here. White Kong Hadley is actually the dog here. He's 11-4, 3 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's never been finished in a fight. This is his debut. He's won 1 of his last 3. He did lose his last fight, though. He's missed weight before at 135. He went 3-4 in the UFC, 1-0 on Contender Series, 1-0 on Bellator. Do I have to ask you? Am I obligated to ask you on Contender Series?
About what? About who he beat?
But who he beat?
He beat the guy who's fighting this weekend.
He knows, ladies and gentlemen.
He beat the flyweight. Why am I blinking on? Is it Mitch Raposo?
Okay, there you go. See, he knows. So I should ask. 1-0 in
Raposo's in the UFC now, and he isn't.
Yeah, there you go. Funny how these things happen sometimes. 1-0 Bellator. Used to fight at 125. Missed weight at 125 as well. That was famously on Contender Series, right? And he got his contract anyhow. Yep. Or no,
then he started missing in the organization too, which is when he went up in weight, fought Cal Lauren and then Smotherman.
Yep. And now he's still up at that weight class. So he was a Cage Warriors champion, a regional champion. So that's kind of why we were high on him. Or at least I was, I guess. I think you were too, right? At one point?
Yeah, ish.
Yeah. He wasn't one of our quote unquote boys, but 4 years younger than Mattos, 2 inches height, 3 inches reach, minus 110. Mattos is Adamas is the nickname. Which is some kind of Greek god type of person, I think. He's 14-3-1, 7 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's been knocked out once. Short notice debut in here in this fight is going to be mentioned off the top. Everybody, at least every fight's got at least one person that's stepping in. 2-1 over his last 3, 3-3 over his last 6. Did lose his last fight as well. 2-2 in Bellator, 1-1 in the Ultimate Fighter. I will not ask. Some people know, but I'm not going to ask. 2011.
I don't remember him on the Ultimate Fighter. Okay. That would have been Brazilian Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, probably. 2011 Pro MMA debut, minus 120. So pretty much a pick 'em.
I'm going to go with Mattos in this one.
Interesting. Short notice debut. Actually, I don't know if that matters in PFL. I only have the stats for UFC.
I mean, he was already booked in a fight anyway, right? He was supposed to fight Wetzell. So, but like the bottom line is like, I think he can do what Smotherman did. That's my read on this situation is that like he's going to be faster than Hadley. He's got good pressure. He works the body nicely. He comes forward. I think I said that once already. But he comes forward and Hadley seemed to have issues and seems to continue to have issues with people who are long, use that length, and come forward at bantamweight, right? Because like he really is better suited for flyweight, and granted, he did start missing weight there, but like once he gets up to that higher weight class, like his speed isn't one of his best attributes, right? And like in order to like if you're going up in weight class, you want that speed to be that thing that like ticks up, right? You want that speed to be that thing that takes over because you're gonna be smaller than the guy up a weight class. So you can't be the bully. And like Jake Hadley was a bully for a lot of his career, right? Like that's what he did to Raposo on Contender Series. So like if he can't be the bully anymore because he's going up a weight class, he's got to be the faster one, and he's not the faster one. So it like wound up being a very bad move up to me in terms of Hadley. And then he's going to fight a guy who I think has enough of the same attributes as Smotherman that he can just mimic what he was doing. You know, throw kicks to the body, come forward, stuff any takedowns that come or any clinch work that comes, and just like don't let Jake Hadley off the hook. Keep him backpedaling. And if he does that, Mattos should win this.
All right. Take that, Jake Hadley. Okay, before we dive into more winning picks, let's tell you about Edge Boost. SGPN is partnered up with Edge Boost, the premier Visa debit card for bettors. The Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied at the sportsbook, DFS site, sweepstakes site, racetrack, or casino. Plus, you can earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards for using your Edge Boost card. You know your money is safe as the card is FDIC insured. The best part is no credit checks, and it's completely free. So sign up today at edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And we're brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet every sport. They had all the college basketball lines. They got the bunch of these UFC lines. They got PFL lines. They got it all. Plus, props for every game. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. They got easy deposits and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Kyle Filipkowski, he's got a couple games left. You're going to want to get in on him while you can. Al Horford, he's got a lot more games left. Get in his prop plays as well. And head to mybookie.ag, promo code MMA SGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. That's mybookie.ag, promo code MMA SGPN. All right. We haven't got any dogs yet. We'll see if Gummy's got some dogs in store for us. Pretty much this one, the fight we just did, could be a dog by the time
Mattos,
you listen to it.
When I looked, Mattos was plus 110. I had that written down.
Yeah, I think it depends on your book probably.
Yeah, it must have flopped.
Yeah. He won't be a dog for long once this gets dropped. Do we still move lines? We used to notice it a lot with regional stuff. I don't know if
I think less so on like the PFLs. I think you see it more on like the CFFCs and stuff like that.
Because it definitely it definitely was noticeable.
80% of the people betting those events listen to our show.
Our people, exactly. And our inner Discord. All right. Another tournament bout, obviously, bantamweights. Kasumov. I would be Jeff off, I guess, if I was in Russia, right?
Just add an OV at the end. The OV at the end of the name is because it's his father's name.
Oh, so right. He's
Kasum and is the son of Kasum.
Right. So I would be Fox off.
Yeah.
Or Jim. My dad's Jim, so I'd be Jim off.
You'd be Jeff Jim off.
Jeff Jim off. That's great. You would be the Bear Whisperer off.
Yes.
There's a callback. Yeah. All right. Kasumov is from Russia. He's fighting against Justin Wetzell. Is he from the Pretzel? The Pretzels guy, isn't there? Wetzell's Pretzels?
I don't think he's the Wetzell Pretzel guy.
No, but
okay. I can ask.
Yeah, that's right. He's on your show.
Nope.
Right?
Nope.
He was on your show? Has he been on your show? You're going to ask, though.
Nope. I'll find a way to ask, but nope, he has not.
And why is he dressed up like a cyborg in his topology picture?
I don't know. Seems like a good idea at the time.
At the time, it seemed like a good idea. We'll talk about Wetzell first. He's 10-2. 4 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been knocked out once. This is a short notice debut. He's won 3 straight and 9 of 10. He's not lost since November 2022. He used to fight at 145. An inch of height, 6 inches reach over. Kasumov, plus 425. 16-1, 2 knockouts, 9 submissions for Kasumov. He's never been finished. This is his debut. He's on a 6-fight winning streak. He's not lost since March 2019. He went 2-0 on Bellator. He used to fight at 145. 2013 pro MMA debut. 2 years younger than Wetzell, minus 600.
Yeah, so I'm taking Kasumov in this one, but I'm also advising people not to throw this one in a parlay.
Interesting.
It just because like Wetzell has good wrestling and always has. It's been kind of his path to victory through. He was an LFA guy. Mm-hmm. It's been his path to victory through a lot of those LFA fights. I think he's outmatched in the wrestling here, and he's certainly outmatched in the boxing, but it like sort of feels like one of those positions where like, could he wear Kasumov out, being that like Kasumov's never like really failed on his takedowns? Maybe. Is it enough for me to pull the trigger at, what do you say, 450?
Yes.
Yeah, not for me.
425, actually. No,
Yeah.
you talk about Kasumov, you talk about Wetzell. Wetzel's 425.
Yeah.
425.
And like, so if he was 600 or 700, maybe I'd pull the trigger and just, sprinkle on Wetzell. But like at its current price, I think Kasumov is still the pick. In the bottom line is like, okay, so he's good at wrestling, but he's not particularly good at holding people down. Like if you watch his fight with, he fought Begsad Usmanov in his last fight, who's really a flyweight. I know he fought on featherweight tough, but he was really a flyweight. And he out wrestled him, and like, but didn't really hold him down. Like Usmanov just kept getting back up. And like the boxings are right from Wetzell, but like he also really very much doesn't like somebody who's a better boxer in his face. Anytime like Usmanov came forward, he did that thing where he like pushes away Usmanov's head, and like comes close to poking him in the eye, and like ultimately has really trash striking defense. And like Kasumov, first of all, he's got those like Sambo body lock takedowns, where every single one of them turns in the takedown, so it's like impossible to keep your balance. So I think that alone is just going to throw Wetzell off because it's a different style of wrestling. And then in addition to that too, he throws a really nice lead uppercut. And I think Wetzell is just like destined to eat one of those on a way in. And his combinations in general are good. His hooks are tight. He throws some really nice straights. He's quick to the target. But like the uppercut strikes me as something that's going to be trouble for Wetzell. So I'm going to say Kasumov here. But again, I'd leave him out of parlays. I worry about if this wrestling just happens to be closer than I think it is. You'd look really dumb trying to squeeze a little bit extra value out of your parlay with Kasumov in it.
Yeah. And Wetzell's not worth even a little pretzel money.
I would say not at you said 425. I'd say if he got to, like I said, 6 or 7, maybe you might find me sprinkling on there, but I don't think until you get to like 6 or 7 or something like that. And it might go up. You got a guy with an OV name and a late replacement from LFA. That might be a perfect recipe to actually get him up that high.
I get nothing from you for the pretzel comment.
No, not even pretzel money.
He didn't even snicker. He didn't even smile for people not watching. I was watching his face, nothing. He didn't even register it, which is great. He sells my jokes, which is why
just once in a while.
It makes it when one lands, it makes it much more rewarding.
I make you work for your stuff. I make you work
exactly, which is true. It's totally like marriage for real. It's my wife. I rarely get a laugh out of her nowadays. So it's Gumby and I have been together a long time as well. So these things happen in MMA. Before we dive into the last 2 fights, let me tell you about Underdog. It's time for Gumby's bonus Underdog Pick'em. Underdog Pick'em. You can play any sport and win up to 100 times your money. All right, what sport are we playing today?
So I told you all week I'm just doing MMA stuff. We're just doing the UFC. Yep. We got Ndregjoni fighting Yan Xiaonan in UFC 314. The takedown numbers for Virna, very tempting. 2.5 is the projection on her takedowns. We're going to take the higher than on Virna Jandiroba's takedowns. I think the beauty of that is I think Yan Xiaonan pops up really well. And I think, Virna's going to want that takedown. So I think we're going to see her get at least 3 of them. So we'll take the higher than on her takedowns.
All right. Take that and take my code. I'm going to give it to you. Gumby's code to MMA SGPN. Claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. It's underdogfantasy.com, promo code MMA SGPN. And Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props. Rhythm is now live for Major League Baseball. Plus, they got models for NBA and golf. Picks so good, it feels like cheating. Building your own models is simple and easy. Obviously, Kyle Filipkowski and Al Horford, regular season winding down in the NBA. They got models for those guys as well. Sign up today for a 7-day free trial at sports@gamblingpodcast.com/rhythm, at sports@gamblingpodcast.com/RTHMM. I'm going to double down and try to get a laugh out of Gumby. We'll see. I'm definitely going to get more winning picks out of Gumby. That I can promise you. All right, the last 2 fights, they're second and third from the top of the card. So co-main event, and this one is third from the top. And it would be between an Italian Francesco Nuzzi and a Mexican Mando Gutierrez, 3 5-minute rounds. I will tell you about Gutierrez first. El Toro. We've had a few El Toros come across our show. He's 10-3, 2 knockouts, 6 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. Short notice debut. I think I've heard that before. He's won 2 straight in 3 of 5. He went 0-1 in the Ultimate Fighter. He's a regional champion, or was. Used to fight at 145. 1 known pro grappling. An inch reach over Nuzzi plus 100. Nuzzi's berserker. 10-1 with 1 no contest, 4 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been submitted once. 1 known PFL. That's part of a 1-fight winning streak. He's 9-0 with 1 no contest over his last 10. So TKO win in his last bout. That was back in July, though, of 2023. So he's been on the shelf for a bit. He's not lost since July 2016. He's a regional champ. He went 3-0 as a pro grappler. He's at -130.
I'm going to go Mando Gutierrez.
There's a dog for us.
His numbers come down a little bit. What'd you say it was?
Even money, +100.
Oh, man. He was plus 200, 250 earlier in the week.
Have you been giving your picks out elsewhere? Have you been tipping people off?
No.
How would you like him for +250? I see him at +250 out of different.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
I will give you that.
I saw it this morning at +250.
Yeah.
It would have had to have been an insane line change on Gutierrez. And then I would have felt real good about the pick.
Why would the books be so off though? The book I used, I can't remember which one it was. It was some aggregate site. I had him at +100, and the other book has got him at +250.
You might have had. Right? Did you have his old fight? Maybe you might have had his alternate case, fight.
But yeah,
you might have pulled the wrong number there. But yeah, he's a big dog here, and I like him quite a bit. The big reason is the wrestling. He fought Cameron Smotherman in Fury. Mm-hmm. And you saw how Smotherman looked against Jake Hadley, right? Mm-hmm. Like he just styled on him the whole time. Mando Gutierrez dominated Cameron Smotherman for 2 rounds in the grappling before he ate a flying knee and got pieced up on the feet in the 3rd round. Like he was really on his way to beating Cameron Smotherman. And like outside of just like struggling a little bit here and there with like dudes who can counter wrestle, like he lost way back in the day to Mo Miller, and Cody Gibson got him once. And like he's lost to dudes who can wrestle a little bit. Outside of that, he's had a really easy time. And I think look, Nuzzi is going to be probably the better striker here, but like he also gets hit once in a while. Anytime he enters the clinch, he like tries to enter the clinch a lot. And then like, it seems like he has poor defense in there. He got taken down in his last fight by Izod, and I'd say Gutierrez is as good of a wrestler as that. And then like when you watch Nuzzi, when he gets to like the 3rd round in fights, it seems like he's out of gas. And if Gutierrez brings that like wrestling heavy game for 2 rounds, I can't imagine there's much left of Nuzzi there at the end of the fight anyway. So I'm going to go dog play here on Mando Gutierrez. I think he's just, he's too good wrestling wise. And granted, he's had lapses, but he's too good wrestling wise for Nuzzi to deal with here.
All right. Very good. Very good. There's our dog. And the final fight, the co-main event, is Leandro Higo from Brazil versus Josh Rettinghouse with the E-R-E-T from United States, 3 5-minute rounds. Tell you about Rettinghouse. First, the finisher. He's 20-5, 7 knockouts, 8 submissions. He's been submitted 3 times. Short notice debut, 4 straight wins, and 10 of 11. Has not lost since October 2019. He went 0-1 the Ultimate Fighter, 1-1 a World Series of Fighting. So technically he's debuting, but he's been with this promotion before back in their olden days. He used to fight at 155, 2011 Pro MMA debut, a year younger than Higo, plus 275.
He fought for the Bantamweight title when they announced it he was the first ever to fight for their Bantamweight title.
That is old school. Higo is Pitbull. There's an old school nickname as well. He's 23-6, 3 knockouts, 13 submissions. He's been knocked out twice, submitted once. This is his debut. He's won 2 straight in 506. He's not fought low since March 2024. He's not lost since June 2022. 6-4 in Bellator. Missed weight twice at 135. He was the LFA champ. He went 1-1 in the Ultimate Fighter. Used to fight at 145. 2006 Pro MMA debut. 2 inches of height, 6 inches of reach over Rettinghouse. -325.
So I'm going to pull it back to the last fight for just a second, because when you didn't say that Mando Gutierrez was 0-1 on the Contender Series, you had me doubting my own brain.
The Ultimate Fighter, I said. Did I say?
Yeah, but he was also 0-1 on Contender
Series. Oh, really? I'm sorry.
Because I was waiting for you to say that, because I remembered him fighting Raul Rosas Jr., he had some good grappling moments as well, by the way. But then you made me second guess myself and think I was going crazy. So I just want to throw that back there. Mando Gutierrez also had some good grappling moments against Raul Rosas Jr., which is aged extremely well. Bringing it back to what I originally thought was going to be the main event here, I'm going to swing on the dog again. I'm going to take Josh Rettinghouse. Higo has just had trouble with wrestlers in the past, and both with like panicking that wrestler is going to take him down and stop throwing any real strikes, and also just getting taken down. Like Darian Caldwell took him down. I want to say in the first fight, he submitted him with a guillotine. And in the second fight, technically Higo eked out a split decision. But like the grappling of Caldwell was just good enough to take him down all the time. And like Rettinghouse is like notoriously had pretty damn good wrestling. He fought for M1 Global for years, which is like kind of surprising when his name's Josh Rettinghouse and he's from Seattle. And like you don't necessarily expect him to be over in M1 Global, but he fought so many Russians over there, and his takedown defense is ticked way up. His own wrestling's really good. If you watch his recent fights, granted he's fought some like pretty low level competition, but there was one decent prospect in there, and he just like turned the hips really quick on the guy and threw him to the ground. And I was like, damn, he has still got it. I know he's like, what is he, 35 now? He's like still quick for a bantamweight. And like, I really like that about him. He's gritty. I think that gritty style can be a problem for Higo. And like I said, sometimes it's because he can't defend the takedowns. Sometimes it's because he's scared of them. And, the Aaron Pico fight is a perfect example. He just like wouldn't throw and like clearly was trying to stop the takedown. And he ate a punch. And I want to say Pico knocked him out. So like, Higo is just always kind of fared poorly against wrestlers. I don't know if Rettinghouse is a good enough of one to beat him, but we're getting almost 3-1 money on him. I think he's worth a sprinkle there.
All right. You're set for the first round. He's got Rettinghouse and Gutierrez. We're finishing off the two big dogs. Kasumov, Mattos, and Alves. All right. How's this tournament going to play out, Gumby?
I mean, I kind of hope the weirdest shit just happens, if you don't mind me saying so. Like, I would really love to see like Mando Gutierrez make like a weirdly long run in this tournament. Because I do think he's wildly underrated. He's fought, his only losses are Cameron Smotherman, Mo Miller, and Raul Rosas Jr. Like that is a really tough, and Cody Gibson on the Ultimate Fighter, who's shown up in the UFC lately. So like I'd really like to see him make a big run, but the bottom line is with all the dropouts, I think this is Kasumov's division, kind of. Like I just think this guy is gonna ragdoll people and win this fight. So I would probably pick him to win the tournament here.
And it's PFL, and that's what Russians tend to dominate PFL. So yeah, that wouldn't be a surprise. And he is the biggest favorite on this card. So all that tracks for what Gummy's saying. All right, you're all set for this Friday's PFL. We'll be in the Discord chatting about it, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. You can catch us on YouTube, MMA Gambling Podcast. Make sure you subscribe, comment, like stuff, share stuff. All that stuff helps us. Thank you. SGPN MMA on Twitter. He's at Gummy Vreel, and I'm at Jeff Fox Writer there. Same as on Instagram. Get into my Substack. Free subscription will get you a free entry into my pick'em, UFC pick'em I run pretty much every week. So that would be moneymma.substack.com. Plus I have, I think, articles that you'll find interesting on there as well. Gumby's got Top Turtle MMA podcast. Who is on it this week, Gumby?
The aforementioned Josh Rettinghouse, who we just went on a big dog play with, and also Julian Juice CJ Arosa.
All right. So check out Top Turtle. Always a good listen. And of course, sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Try Madness at checkout. It may get you 20% off. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon for bonus content. We'll be back tomorrow with some LFA. Gumby, bid the people farewell.
All right. I'm Danny Gumby Freeland. He's El Zorro, Jeff Fox, and we will see you tomorrow.
El Zorro. Isn't he El Toro?